During a brief stopover in Sarajevo a few days ago, we met the Bosnian film director Danis Tanovic. He gave us lunch, coffee, a tour of his city, and then, after some good conversation, presented us with a bottle of wine. This wasn't just any bottle. It had been presented to him back in 2001 as he was hoovering up awards, including an Oscar for his debut film, and had somehow survived unopened. It also had an intriguing name. The wine, like Danis's film, was called No Man's Land. From the bottle we could see that the wine was Bulgarian, produced in a place called Damianica. A quick Google search showed the location of the town, so we went. After a few wrong turns and a few confused phone calls, we found the town, the winery, and even the man who produced the wine given to us a few days before. Ivo is the head winemaker at Damianica. He has an incredible philosophy. You get the sense he really cares about his product and about reviving the history and reputation of Bulgarian wine production, both of which suffered badly under communism. The Damianica winery is a case in point. Founded in 1940, nationalised in 1945, it had for most of its operational life produced cheap wine for the proletariat of the Soviet Union. In 1997, the Damianica winery was reprivatised, and Ivo was brought on board to help transform its wine production and its reputation. The winery works like a cooperative. Grapes are produced by farmers throughout the region and are supplied to Damianica for a transformation into wine. Grapes for white wine tend to come from the more temperate north of the country. Red grapes are sourced from the south-facing slopes of southern Bulgaria, including those that surround the town of Damianica. Perhaps the most special of these grapes, and certainly the most intriguing, come from a region close to Bulgaria's border with Greece. Shortly after the Iron Curtain was drawn between Eastern and Western Europe, the Bulgarian government, anxious both to prevent external infiltration and to contain the Bulgarian people, reinforced their southern border. Watchtowers, fences, patrol stations, and armed police were just some of the materials and bodies that assembled the frontier. But the border was not simply a line. It was a vast zone of graduated restrictions. For Bulgarians, it was impossible to get anywhere near the border. Unless, that is, you were one of a handful of farmers producing melnik, an indigenous variety of grapes that fueled Bulgarian wine production throughout the Cold War. When the Damianica winery was reprivatised, they scented an opportunity to turn the architecture of the Cold War into an asset with international commercial appeal. Using only grapes sourced from the formerly securitized 5-kilometre strip of land adjacent to the border, they produced the first bottle of No Man's Land in 1998. Today, 25 years after the fall of the Soviet Union, vineyards still cover the landscape of the former No Man's Land, and so too do the remnants of the Cold War. The neat rows of viticulture cultivation intersect with the now rusting wires and concrete stanchions that used to form the near impenetrable defences against capitalism. Military patrol booths are now repurposed as storage sheds, and in the distance, watchtowers still peak above the surrounding hills, visible reminders that this was once a highly surveilled, forbidden zone. Less obvious, though, is a more recent process of abandonment. Lines of newly planted, well-tended, popular, and imported grape varieties such as Cabernet sit abruptly next to the abandoned vines bearing melnik grapes, the main ingredient of that once popular, and if not popular, certainly affordable, Soviet-era wine. While less concrete than other Soviet-era remains in the No Man's Land, these are perhaps the organic markers of Bulgaria's 20th century history, and of the culture, and perhaps the viticulture and economy of the USSR.